Welcome everyone back to another StarCraft 2 cast. Today I have a best of 5 played on January 24th, so 5 days ago, very recent cast, from a best of 5 from ByuN versus Solar. And ByuN is kind of my favorite Terran player, because I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I like Clem, I like ByuN, I like Maru, but ByuN's just crazy with the micro. And that's what we love him for. And in the bottom right corner, we have pretty good Zerg player. Don't mean to discredit the man, but I haven't seen him playing a lot versus Dark, versus Cyril recently. But overall, he has some crazy results and some crazy gameplay. Okay, this man takes macro to another level. As he opens up hatch first, no shenanigans with pool first. Nothing crazy. It's going to standard 17 hatch, 17 gas, and then he goes pool. We're ByuN over here. Nothing insane over here either. Just regular barracks. As the overlords start making their way across the map, the hatch is halfway done. And what I want to see from this game is I want to see some of that ByuN Hellion micro, some of that ByuN, maybe a Hellbat push. But I don't think we're going to see it on Submarine. Because the map is so small, I think Hellions can get there just so fast. Submarine is not one of Zerg's favorite maps because it is so tiny. And the other races can get their units over here before Zerg has too many of those lings or roaches out. So ByuN walks over here, checks the timing of the hatch, made sure that it was correct, and then let's see what the ByuN player cam is up to. You know, just checking his base, getting his second gas out, sending out a unit. He's got the Reaper at the base. He's going to see if he can get some drones. He's probably going to get one ling, at least. These lings are so damaged they haven't even touched him yet. Okay, taking a little bit of damage. But he should get 2 lings from this position, looks like. Maybe 2 lings and a drone. Incredible, makes that spore color so fast. Cancels it right away. Loses like 20 minerals, but it's so worth it for that live drone to knock her down. As it does start regenerating health. The main thing he cares about now is this creep tumor, and incredible work from Solar, boxing this Reaper out. And actually getting the kill. Incredible play from Solar right there. I'm a big fan. This is why you root for the Zerg, okay? Solar is crazy. Now, not to discredit ByuN, I think that was a little weird how he ran towards this wall and he didn't actually chase this drone. It was full HP, he ran towards this wall and didn't hit the drone that was one shot. He was too scared of the lings, even though he is way faster. The ling does spot the Hellions. ByuN's not too happy about that. He has his Hellions chase the ling. That's another 4 or 5 or 6 seconds even that the Hellions wait to go out. The Overlords see it as well. And Solar's just going to position his queens and try to protect these creep tumors. And try not to let these guys get too deep. Oh, this creep tumor's going to go down. So that is 25 energy. Solar immediately puts another one up. This Hellion did take a bit of damage. I don't think... it took like 20-30 damage. I think that's fine. In the production tab, you see some research coming up already in the tech lab. Wait a minute. That's so many Hellions. Okay, so Solar, while this Hellion stuff was going on, he did see the Banshee. He did see the tech lab researching. Green light was on. So Solar does know exactly what ByuN is up to. ByuN is up to a standard, I'd say pretty standard. 2 base full wall. Hellion, Banshee, pretty committal attack. This is a lot of resources for the early game, so I'm going to say this is a pretty committal attack right here. 3 queens should be able to repel the Hellions, but the Banshee in the back can 1v1 the queen, especially if it does cloak up. The queen doesn't have another queen to inject to transfuse it. There we go. That's 50 energy though. That's a lot of queen energies. The spores should protect most of this. Yeah, the Spore detects it, but can't shoot at it. The Queen trying to box it out of range. And then the Natural also has a Queen. Not really in position yet. He's going to lose a drone for that Queen position. He's going to lose 2 for that Queen position. That was really sloppy. He knew the Banshee was going this way. And he ended up losing 2 drones for it, even when he had a Spore. The Banshee's just making itself be known here. The Banshee's just shooting at stuff as it can. Not really going to get anything done over here. He's just trying to distract ByuN. He's trying to distract Solar from his actual Banshee. The one that just came over from the side of the map. And here we see 5 Hellions run all the way back. That's 10, 11 drones from this assault. 12 drones from this assault. Holy moly! Yeah, the anti-air from Zerg early is just not what you want to be, okay? You want to have a few more Queens out if your opponent's going Banshee, or at least a few more Spores if your opponent's going Banshee. But because he saw the Tech Lab for Cloak so late, he didn't have enough time to get those Queens up. But now if we check, he does have 6 Queens, so this should be appropriate. He has 3 on the front line, then 1 on each base. Patrolling and injecting. So ByuN didn't, he got a bunch of workers killed, but since Solar is Zerg, I feel like he kind of went in a little too late. Because when Solar's got these 3 injected bases going at all times, he barely noticed those 11 workers dying, as he's still 10 or 11 workers ahead of ByuN all the time. Because ByuN is just now establishing the 3rd and saturating the 3rd. He's not even saturating, it doesn't even have a single worker here yet. The Ling scouting it out, a few more Lings. Hero Lings checking out the Marines. Marines don't trade for those, the Marines tank those. And now switches out of Hellions. This is what he's really been planning this whole time. 2 tanks, a ton of Marines walk in here as he is workering up behind this. He is committing behind this. This is not an all-in. Don't panic. The Mutas are a little scary, I will say. The Mutas and the Banes are a little scary. He throws 1 Muta in provision. He goes in, the Lings get the surround of the Marines. The Marines all get picked up. The siege tanks are done. And the siege tanks fall, but many Marines get out scot-free in these pretty high energy Medivacs. Oh, I shouldn't have said that too early. There's more Marines on the ground. The Mutas get scared away. Good work by ByuN, dropping those Marines. Good work. Muta took a little damage. Nothing really died there. In production, we see more Tech Labs. We see a bunch of creep. We see a lot of Lings coming up. A lot of Banelings being made right now as well. Those just morphed. And if you look at the army tab, Solar's ahead by a little bit, but these are very efficient troops, okay? Both sides is playing with incredibly efficient Marine Medivac versus Bane Muta. Okay, in Bane Muta, well, it doesn't sound like it because the Mutas literally killed themselves. Mutalists are very efficient at trading and at going behind after and before battles. And they can just scamper around the battlefield. Siege tank down, Medivac down. That Medivac has an HP point as the Lings continue to surround. The Medivacs get picked down, target fired by the Mutas, and the Lings just chase back into the base. Because there is an air turret here. The air turret's gone. Banelings explode all over the workers. Workers gone. So much is falling. This could be game right here. I don't think ByuN can come back from this. Oh. Okay, a crazy game 1. Alright, let me pop over to game 2 real quick. Okay, loading into game number 2. Let's talk about what happened in game number 1, okay? ByuN engaged with the Reaper. He had a bit of a Reaper misplay. He didn't kill anything with it, not even the tumor, not even a drone, not even a Ling. And he didn't get much information about whether we had an Evo chamber, whether we had a Roach Warren, whether we were going straight to lair, what we were looking for, what Solar was looking for. And he just went in with some Hellions. Got nothing done with 2 Hellions. Got a bit more done with Banshee Hellion. Okay, but the problem was, while he was doing his first Hellion attack, Solar actually sacrificed an Overlord and flew it right into the base. Flew it right around here. And saw everything that was coming up for ByuN. And ByuN did kill it as fast as he could. He had some Marines ready for it, but it got in too far, and it got in right before the Banshee got across the map and kind of slowed that attack down. And I think if ByuN goes for this again, he's going to have to go in a bit earlier because Solar did have 3 full saturated bases up. And so losing those 11 workers felt like nothing with all the 3 injected hatches. Solar goes for the same classic macro opening. Standard pool, quick hatch. I like to see the quick hatch in these smaller maps because some people do prefer pool first or pool 14 even in these smaller maps, but I really don't like to see those. I'd much rather see the macro. I like watching macro games a bit more than the nip and tuck games. I like seeing how they play out with the extended fights. Here we go. The SCV checking whether the hatch is correctly timed. And sees the hatch and immediately goes back to his base. Okay, Reaper comes out. This time we can watch the Reaper from beyond vision and see what the heck he is up to, macroing and controlling that Reaper. Because it seems like he does have a bit of a tough time. I mean, the people I play against macro the Reaper 1/8 as good as he does, and he didn't even get a kill. So speaks volumes for Solar. Solar should be able to find this Lang on the left here, or that drone that's low. Okay, he does take 1 shot from it. He does get pretty low. There's 1 Lang, a lot better than last time. He does force the drone to go in. The other drone's really low, and the Queen does come up. He has to walk away. But if that grenade comes back up, he can look for a creep tumor. Solar puts the creep tumor pretty far back on creep and moves the Queen up to zone him. When ByuN gets this Reaper healed up, he might go in. He has his grenade ready, and the creep tumor is constructed. That's the end of this exchange. Solar ends up taking this high ground third instead of the low ground third. I like that versus Hellions, and I also like that versus siege tanks on this map. Because taking this base, it can be a little hard to hold for Zerg, because if they have any air units coming from this side, it's really awkward to position all your forces over here, because then they can have 1 tank or something back here, and they can just pick this base off while you're fighting something over here. It's a really awkward base to hold for both players. So I'm interested to see if ByuN also goes for the high ground third. I bet he will, because you can wall off here, and then if you really need to, you can wall off here as the Overlord goes and checks out what's going on. See, this time ByuN is going to be a little bit more careful with the Overlords not getting into his base. He is going the same Banshee Cloak build, it looks like. He's got the Hellions across the map. He does have this Reaper alive as well, so that's a little bit of a buff from last time. Last time, remember, he did lose that Reaper pretty early into combat. So we've got to look out for this push, and the Overlords do directly see it, don't they? Okay, the Overlords don't directly see these troops, but they know where they're at. And Solar keeps trying to go in here. He doesn't see this, okay? He doesn't see the starport with the tech lab. He just sees the constructing building right here. That's all he sees. He doesn't know it's Banshee. He remembers from last game that it was Banshee, and then this Banshee's going to take the long way around the map. Ooh, going to get intercepted by an Overlord. And then the Queen's going to start wreaking havoc on the Banshee. Brings Lings over, quickly realizes it's not a ground threat. Starts to pull all 5 Queens over here. This Banshee does get really low HP, but the Hellions run in while all the Queens are pulled down below. Banshee's sneaking its way around. The Spore is not yet constructed. That's 1 drone. Should be able to get 2 or 3 here if he routes around to the main while he distracts these Hellions. The Baneling Nest is at the front, making a nice little wall. The Queens zone these guys off. Kill 1 Hellion. 4 still alive, back in the base with that Reaper. 3 still alive, back at the base. We're losing quite a lot of workers here, but then again, he is playing Zerg with 3 bases all injected, so he's got 10 more workers at all times, even when he's losing so many. I guess that Banshee went down. Oh, that Banshee's hiding in the corner for the end of this. Solar zoned him in the corner, and this is the closest we've seen the worker count this entire set. 48 to 45 is the closest closest income we've seen, really. Now the second Banshee with detection, so he does just start sniping off some Lings. There's a Spore right there with another Queen. It's going to be really hard to get some damage, because this Banshee cannot fight back against this Overseer. So we're going to see ByuN. Is he going to go back into the same Marine Medivac 2 tank push? Yes, it looks like he is. He's going for stem. He's getting it. Oh, he canceled his Medivac. He's dropping mules out of his mind. He's mining like an absolute crazy person right now, despite being 10 workers lower, because Terran does have those mules, can replace workers just for free energy. Holy moly. Solar has a bit more losses, but also he has been mining more this entire game. ByuN finally floating out the third. Glad to see that coming out at around 650. Like 650 landing set up. That is a little better. Solar should see this. Yeah, Solar sees it flying down. He's going to see if he can get any sneaky Overlord information in here now that all the Marines are out of the base. He should be able to fly this in. And ByuN starts moving across the map. His second tank just came out, so he is going to have to wait for this to connect with the group, unless he's just going to go in with one tank. He does have double Medivac. He does have stem. They stem to kill an Overlord? And then they run away? I guess to reconvene with that second tank, but that was a little awkward. Showed Solar exactly where your army was. As Solar only has a few mutas. How many mutas is that total? Is this all his mutas on the map? Okay, he has 8. There we go. All the mutas, a bunch of Zerglings are connecting up. They're going to go for an attack in the back. But ByuN is pushing up. The mutas are gone. Check the unit tab. We have 32 Marines pushing in here with 2 Medivacs and 2 tanks. Where did the second tank go? Okay, yeah, 2 tanks. That's what I thought. We're getting +1s. Near halfway done here. He's making a ton of mutas, making combat shields. ByuN really can wait to fight until that combat shield is up, but he does think he's strong enough to just take this base. And this is exactly what I was talking about. It's awkward because you fight over here, it looks like a choke point, and then there's this absolute huge field where you can put tanks and everything. Although this is a good exchange for Solar, he does go on the reverse offensive. This Queen's going to go down. Well, he does transfuse it last second. Uses a lot of Queen energy here. It's definitely worth it to keep these guys alive. Solar's got to get rid of these Medivacs. There's just too many Marines and Medivacs for him to sit here and fight the Marines, He's got to send these mutas in deep, or he's got to get a big Baneling bust. Now that I say it, the Medivacs are out of energy. The Banelings do clash with the Marines. Out of energy Medivacs are trying to body block. They're trying to take target priority from these mutas, as he is targeting down one. The last Medivac just performs too well, and that was an amazing game 2. It's 1-1 for both players. Let's open game 3. Okay, game 1, game 2. Let me get this back on the board. Game 1 and game 2. Game 1 and game 2 was pretty standard for both players. No one's really gone for anything freaky yet. I mean, the Banshees were a little out of ordinary, but it was a small map. So again, when you're playing Zerg on those small maps, you have to be ready for those early kind of different builds where your tech comes up a little bit later than their tech does. Just because of how your tech tree works. So ByuN took advantage of that with Banshees both times, and he got the Banshee to the base little earlier and at the same time as the Hellions that game. And then he did finish it off when Solar didn't have as many mutas as he needed. So game 3, a little bit of a nice map. A lot of rocks to slow down the ground forces. Especially here. And especially here. So if players are going on the attack the first time, they're going to ignore those rocks. But if they have a big force, they might go through and break those on the second time through. Both of these games have been really short. I wish we could see a little bit more macro game instead of these 1-2 battle game over from ByuN and Solar. I mean, I know that's not how they both play. So maybe I'm being a bit wishful with asking for a super 25-minute macro game from either of these players. Especially in this matchup. I mean, I don't know, not especially in this matchup. I do see Protoss go for cheeses more than Terran, I feel. Or not cheeses, but early timing attacks now. Terrans usually go for like a 7-minute, 8-minute. What we saw there was a 7-minute push, and then when he had more Marines, ByuN went in at 8 minutes, finished it all off. And Solar just could not defend at 8 minutes. Also, even though he saw the hatch timing, I do still think it's a little greedy to build your command center down here instead of floating it over. It's like a 5-second time loss. But when you're able to do that and keep this SCV safe, it does seem a little better to me. Holy ByuN! Look at all the times he's targeting these buildings! What is he doing? Holy moly!
Additional supply depots required.
Ooh, ByuN got supply block for 2 seconds. Did y'all see that? Y'all heard the voice line. Y'all heard the voice line.
Add-on complete.
I'm on to you, ByuN. I am on to you, ByuN. See, look at this. He's not going for the attack, but he does want to clear these out so his army has way better access to the other side of the map. It is quite advantageous to have these rocks down. It doesn't really help you on defense for them up anyways, because this area is not really where you want to do most of your fighting. You really want to fight up here where you have high ground and your opponent's stuck on the low ground. You don't want to be stuck on the low ground against this ramp high ground. The Lings come back just in case they're scared of a Reaper. ByuN doesn't even go for a Reaper, he's just going Marine, Factory, Medivac. So is this a 1-1-1 today? Looks like ByuN's going for a 1-1-1 reactor push. And I think he's going to try to kill the third with this. What does Solar see from this? Solar, all he sees is the reactor, the barracks. He does not see a factory, but he did see the Hellions, and he does not see that starport. And then these two do switch places, so we can pop out 2 Hellions at a time. I wish we, again, like I hope one of these games goes a little bit longer so we can maybe see some, Widow Mines happening. Okay, Solar flying in. No Marines on this side. He's going to get some free info. But he is under attack from these Marines that landed. Again, he did go for a 1-1-1, so he has quite a lot of Marines up and running. And they're fine to be picked off even. They have so many Marines and so many mules mining minerals, they can just build as many Marines as they want. Oh, freaking privileged Terrans in there. Mules and Marines. Wow, Solar got a full scout of this. As ByuN is going to pop a Banshee out pretty dang late because he is going for Marine aggression, Banshee support. But he did go for the Marines and Medivac first before the Banshees this game, which I do like that a lot more. I don't think your first attack in this game should really be... Yeah, this Overlord's going to die. He knows that. I don't think ByuN's first Banshee push really worked. I think the Banshee should be... Okay, he swaps to Hellbats. Only 1 Medivac, so they don't have a ton of healing. There is a side attack over here. The 3 Hellions into these Slings. The Banshee, just here for support. Again, the Banshee is not the main firepower. It's not the main thing you have to be concerned about. But it is a lot of DPS. Again, it 2-shots Slings, it 2-shots drones, it 1v1s Queens quite well. I think it can 1v2 Queens if it gets the first attack off. Hellbats are pushing into the mineral line, trying to clear these spores for vision and for these Medivacs. Because the Medivacs will not push in if there's spore colors on the barriers like that. And again, what I said about these rocks, he's trying to make the enemy fight here. So and then when he runs away, he doesn't want to chase the enemy up on this high ground. So he's going to end up going around, but he doesn't have any creep set up, so these Queens are not going to chase. And I don't think it'd be good for the Queens to chase anyways, as ByuN does have the advantage off of creep. Medivac is looking really low energy, not going to be a lot of use. He does scan to kill these 2 creep tumors. Not enough Lings and Banes here to confidently walk out of creep onto those Hellbats. Because those Hellbats are lethal versus these little 3 Banelings. ByuN back at home. Third is morphing and it's about to fly off. Lot of workers back here for ByuN. ByuN is going crazy on the mining. He's going to get 1,000 Marines out this game. And he's going to push into Solar's third. And then Solar might be able to defend this high ground. That's my prediction for this game. Again, I have not seen any of these. I tried not to watch replays beforehand so I can give you a good first impression. of what's going on and not spoil anything. Oh, also, I turned my settings up because I'm just watching. And look at these, at the tops of this thing. That's pretty cool. Oh man, that 14 HP Banshee snipes the opening of a hatch. That is so terribly sad. Solar does have a lot of minerals for it though. Solar is fine spending more. He really needs that fourth up so he can start spamming out units. Because you don't only need the fourth for the income, you need the fourth for the larva. As these Hellbats section off like a total portion, Solar's army gets stuck in the corner. Now that the Hellbats are gone, the Banelings run in, they get 5 or 6 Marines, and then they just drop the rest off. Another tank, more Marines coming in. ByuN is powering it back at home too. ByuN already has a third. Solar doesn't have his third completed yet. This might be enough to end the game. There's only Queens, there's a few mutas out now. The Medivacs still have enough energy to heal through some muta attack. At least there's 2 Medivacs in the front too. The mutas run past the Medivacs. And again, twice we've seen this happen. Twice there's mutas and lings and queens. The queens are shooting forwards, just anything they can hit. The lings are running down, the banelings are running down, but the mutas are trading with marines, and when the marines have the stem and the upgrades, and your mutas don't, I think Solar needs to try to kill these Medivacs. Let's go to game 4. Okay, as we load into game 4, I've been told by my sponsors that this is actually a best of 7. So that is my bad on that one. ByuN leads 2-1, so we finally get to Jagannatha LE. Freaking huge map with 2 speed circles in the center and 2 on the side. And I think this map favors Zerg a little bit more. And I think on this map we usually see a bit longer games, because those timing attacks are quite less effective on this than on, for instance, like Submarine or something like that. So I think ByuN's probably going to want to go for a Reaper here. And Solar goes for the same opening every game because it's just so freaking good. Macro hatch. Quick hatch. Hatch first, if you will. That's the term I hear most people use. Oh man. ByuN. ByuN is too crafty with these timing marines. I'm telling you. The 111, the Hellions, the Medivacs, and then that Banshee was putting in quite a lot of work as well. Just completely overpowered my homie Solar. Switching to the orbital. Glad to see early. Again, building on the low ground, but this is a super duper big map. So this isn't as dangerous on this map particular. He does go for the Reaper. Holy moly. Seeing a mule fly in on max settings is not something I see super often. Look at these things. Look at how good everything looks on maximum settings. I'm on like ultra extreme. I normally play on low and low. This is crazy. Maybe I'll try playing on higher game settings sometimes. Okay, the Reaper's coming across. Optimal pathing through these speed circles. The Queen is going to be out here same time, but the Reaper did take a little longer to get here just because of the map. So it's going to feel like the Queen got out a little bit earlier to ByuN. Nice micro on these lings. He has to keep swapping them out. That drone does build. And he is going to go for this. He did just use the grenade. So he's not going to find anything crazy. He's not going to find even one ling. But he might grenade this creep tumor. He's going to grenade the creep tumor. Oh, he doesn't get it off? Okay, and the creep tumor is safe. He does not get the grenade off on that creep tumor right there. Okay, ByuN just can't seem to find anything against Solar in the first skirmishes of the game. Let's see if that'll change. Okay, I thought he was going to hop up here. He does just, he really wants to get in through the front. Because over back here, if he gets stuck by this queen, it could be quite problematic. Well, he grenades the queen off. He goes for the second tumor, and he can't make it work. He doesn't lose the Reaper, though. So that is going to help when he uses that 2 Hellion Reaper push later. His Overlord is sitting on top of this pillar by the speed zone on ByuN's side of the map. It's going to try to see any armies coming out, looking to use the speed zone to get over to the other side of the map a little bit quicker. As these 2 queens sit up here, they do not want to let this Reaper in the space. And the Reaper's just going to go retreat, meet up with some Hellions under the Overlord's watchful eye. Yeah, the Overlord saw that under the watchful eye. And now that he sees the army, he's going to try to fly it in, get some information on what the heck is going on in here. Does he see the Medivac? He doesn't see that Medivac. But I think he knows it's coming. This is kind of an early 3 Marine drop. 4 minutes on Jagannatha. It's pretty early Marine drop. The Overlord is going to spot this. Solar does know what's coming. His queens. There's 3 queens at the front. 4 Marine, 3 Marines, 3 Reapers, 2 Hellbats, 4 Hellbats. There's an early Hellbat push. 5 queens and a lot of lings here to defend this. The lings have to be really careful with these Hellbats. They don't want to get AoE to death super early. Because the Hellbats do have such a nice spread. So many Zerglings died. Looking at 2 kills, 3 kills from these Hellbats that survived. And then they're going to get rid of this Overlord real quick if they can. Solar making it as annoying as possible to kill this Overlord. As he does send this one into the main base. All the Marines are gone. He sees it's a 1-1-1 push with the Medivac and a Banshee with Cloak coming up. And he does see that STEM started researching in the other tech lab. So he gets a full, basically, scan. But these Hellions walk all the way into the main. The Medivac's going to get out scot and free. Holy cow. Oh, this is an excruciating match for Solar. Drones being picked off left, drones being picked off right. He's at 50 workers. That Hellbat push was super terrifying. I'm glad that he defended it because it didn't seem like enough to kill him. Okay, that creep tumor dies. The Overseer's just walking around trying to spot that Banshee, but it is hiding off to the right behind the main army. It's going to look to get some value in later, I think. Okay, the Banshee's going into the main. Hellbats walk back. The Queens retreat back onto creep. The Banshee is going to get a few kills if they walk to the edge. The Banshee has Cloak up, has a lot of energy. Messing up a drone. Oh yeah, just one, yeah. Yeah, messes up a drone. Scans to make sure there's nothing crazy going on, and then he walks out with no Medivac. But Solar has 1,000 lings at the front. His command center is pretty big. If he focused all the lings on that command center, I think he could kill it before these Marines got there. I think he could have killed that. There's a lot of surface area poking out of this wall on this. Y'all seen that? A lot of ling potential area. The lings run back to where the 5th would be, and they're going to reconnect at the 4th. ByuN's being crafty over here, making a few different groups of armies, running in with these Hellions as he sends the Marines back. He's always looking to snipe fresh creep tumors. He does not want anything going on the map that is out of his vision and in his opponent's. He just wants to lock these creep tumors down, keep Solar trapped behind this little wall right here where the 4th is. And if he can keep Solar locked in there, Solar can get no damage to him. ByuN has a free game, free 3 bases of mining. With mules, I might add. He's got some crazy income. Even beating out over Solar sometimes when we see Solar building something with all these mules. Like 5 creep tumors just get sniped. The 4th is coming up. It would be not terrible, but pretty bad to have to cancel this. Oh, he doesn't get the cancel even. Okay, that was a little awkward. I thought he... Okay, it looks like he was more paying attention to his opponent's third. With these mutas. He keeps going mutas, and they keep getting shut down by these Marines. There's just too many Marines for mutas. Mutas are too baby when you only have, how many is this? Only have 6. 6 mutas is not doing anything for this Solar right here. Solar does sense something's going to go back at home. He brings most of the squad back. The mutas are a little slower because they do come back later. And do they see this? They see this, right? Oh, come on. There we go. Now we see it. Now the armies are colliding. That siege tank got a big pick. I think I heard a Baneling explode in there. Yeah, I got 4 kills because I shot a Baneling, I think. The Baneling killed something else. Oh, look at this little interaction here between the Speed Circle and Creep Tumor. It's kind of cool. The Creep's been permanently speeded. A Queen takes hella damage from that siege tank shot. As the Lings are going to try to go in for a surround, maybe? He does see the other army as well. Scan sees there's, a lot of mutas. Lot of Zerglings. Not that many Banelings, though. He does see the fact there's not that many Banelings. After the scan, he does go back. He does turn a lot more into Banelings. And ByuN just decides he's going to connect with his main army. Back up. Siege up. Figure out what to do. Make a few more units to either defend or drop. We see the mutas rolling out. That is a lot of Marines compared to those mutas, okay? Mutalisks are quite scared of engaging with this many Marines. If they could get a Medivac, or 2 even, if they could just snipe a Medivac and get out, that would be pretty substantial. The Marines stem in. The Lings on these speed circles are lethal. 150 creep tubers being put up on these speed turners. And this game could really go either way. ByuN is mining a bit safer. Solar is fighting to get this 4th up. ByuN doesn't need a 4th. He's got mules. He's building Marines. Muta's going in. There's an air turret being constructed. Instantly destroyed. Okay, he gets 2 drones because of the Muta's splash attack. He does kill that turret, which didn't really do anything. Oh, and ByuN goes for the crazy encircle in the Mutas. Loses 1 Muta. And he is flying to safety, trying to get out of these Marines. Reach the Marine, does trade poorly, and the mutas are just going to heal back as the main fight begins. Solar really doesn't want to take this fight with his mutas, not with the army. So he's going to wait to reconvene as he has this huge ling blob on the map. He's got the Banelings. He's got the Zerglings. He's got a 3rd Baneling group. Scans come in, sees the Banelings morphing, decides it's an opportune time to attack. All the Banelings do get to finish, though. What's this Ling doing over here? This Ling and these Marines are just out of sight of each other. Marines actually do see it because the Medivacs. Big Baneling. Actually, the Banelings lost a lot there. I don't think ByuN really lost anything. Solar's losses jumped up and ByuN's really didn't move. We see ByuN pull out the Widow Mines. This is what I wanted to see. This is where the games get super mind gamey and interesting and become a little bit more about micro. They become a little less about micro and a little bit more about map strategy. I really like this Widow Mine right here. I don't know if Solar saw him set it up. Oh, the Lings! Just too fast on the edge. He still doesn't see it. If these group of Banelings walk into that Widow Mine, it's going to be catastrophic. Let me tell you, it's going to be so bad. Solar's trying to defend the 5th up here. This is a fully saturated 5th. This would be pretty bad if this died. So many Banelings go down on those Hellbats. Such a bad trade right there for Solar, as he's just taking poorer and poorer trades every single time they fight. The Medivacs get what they can. They lift up as the siege tanks tear on these Lings groups. These Ling groups cannot fight back. They cannot do anything to these tanks. They cannot push against the Marines. There's Marines, there's Medivacs, there's mines, there's Marauders, there's stuff all over the map. ByuN is everywhere. He's pincering in on this 4th with 33 workers right here. This base does not want to go down. These Banelings looking for a surround. They find like 4 Marines because ByuN picks up literally everything else. ByuN dropping Marines to slow them down, and he drops Marines back in the main. ByuN has attacks going in 4 sectors. He has Thors. He has Marines. He has tanks. He has mines. Solar only has Bane. And I guess he has these mutas too. But these Marines, the main, weren't going to do anything. I don't think he should have pulled the mutas here. He did pull the mutas to kill the Thor. But then I think he should have helped defend this base. Because these 2 bases up here are super going down. And Solar is running out of space to mine because his main only has 8 patches left. He is getting the tanks. The out of energy Medivac again running in to get some vision, to distract some things. And Solar just can't seem to take a good fight with these army comps. Let's go to game 5, see if anything will change. Okay. Welcome back to game 5 of the best of 7 series between ByuN and Solar. Games 1. Okay, game 1 looks really good for Solar. Got some crazy anti-Reaper micro going on here. He ended up killing the Reaper. Game 2, 3, 4, didn't kill the Reaper. Well, actually game 3, there was not a Reaper. But his early game was a bit weaker. ByuN went for the 1-1-1, 3 games in a row. Beat Solar 3 times in a row with it, and now we are on game 5. This is actually match point for ByuN because it is best of 7 games. So Solar has to win 3 games in a row if he wants to take this back. ByuN just has to win his Pillars of Gold game to take the victory. Okay, ByuN going for gas at the normal time. ByuN also doing everything perfectly normal. I like to see it, but I also do wish we had a bit of variance in these early games. However, that's not perfectly optimal. It's not what ByuN wants to go for, because then again, this is a best of 7, and ByuN is on match point. He wants to take things slow, he wants to take things correctly, he wants to take things optimally. He's just looking out how to get these W's, how to grind these games out, how to get to his next match. Solar, on the other hand, has had a bit of a deficit. He's got to find out something new. He can't just keep getting destroyed by these Hellbound Marine pushes that swap into Banshee Marine pushes. You beat him 3 times in a row. So you really got to look out for it. Reaper, SCV coming to check the hatch timing. ByuN checks it every game. Very good. I don't see many Terrans on the ladder doing this. Then again, I'm not that high up on the ladder. Pretty low. Anyways, enough talking about my ladder score. Let's think about what these players are going to do in this game. So he goes for factory again. He's just trying to get some Hellions out. Gets the reactor. And after this reactor, I'm pretty sure he's just going to go back into 1-1-1. Starport comes out of it later. Let's see if Solar can get this Overlord into the base a little earlier. Maybe... oh, the Marine comes out. And he will start patrolling for that Overlord. This is going to have a tough time unless it comes all the way from around the back. As we do see ByuN complete the 1-1-1 Terran opener. And will this be a Banshee? Will this be a Medivac to go with that many Marines? Will this maybe be a Viking? Will this be a Liberator? I'm just naming off all the Terran air units. It could be a battle cruiser later in the game even. However, I haven't seen those in quite a long time in professional play. As the starport finishes, he does come out with Medivac. Happy to see it. Classic ByuN. When he opened up with those, okay, he scares the... ByuN comes out with a single Hellion. He's going to go reconnect with his other. Glad to see it doesn't take too much damage. And I'm also happy to see that ByuN stopped going Banshee first, because it obviously did not work against Solar, whose defense against the Banshee and the early fights are just so good with these queens. And we're about to see it again. He moves the queen over to the 3rd. As soon as the Hellions get there, the 2nd queen comes to protect, as they look to make another creep tumor at the edge of the space, I think. Creep crawling out across the map. The Overlord sees the Marine leave, decides this is the opportune time to see if ByuN is going for a 1-1-1 again. And guess what? Guess what? He is going for a 1-1-1 again. He is getting attacked by this same 7-8 Marine drop in his main. The Queen is going for the Medivac. And the Overlord does see the 1-1-1. Oh man, ByuN's. I guess if it works, don't fix it. But it's just the monotony. The same build, ByuN's. You don't get a little bored over there? I guess in pro player land, these games are significantly different for them. But for me, in not pro player land, this looks like the same opener into the same defense over and over and over. As Solar just keeps making wings. Why don't we get some roaches out here to combat those siege tanks? Why don't we get some hydras to kill those Medivacs? He does go double evo, which I do really like. And just as I'm saying, as I'm about to scold him for not having upgrades up, he does start the upgrades. As he has got a lot more on his plate than I do right now. Oh, he does go for the Liberator in the back. 2, 3, 4. Okay, he kills 3 drones with that Liberator. I do like me a Liberator or 2. I love to see that one. I don't see many Terrans use Liberators, and I don't see them use very many Liberators. So it looks like that's all the Liberator that we're going to see, and then we're going to see 2 Reactored Raxes and 1 Tech Lab Rax working on STEM, all making Marines. So the ByuN's Classic, the Marine Classic, the Triple Rax, that is quite good early game. He's also looking to get these upgrades done in his engineering bays. Once he has STEM, once he has this +1 armor, he'll be having a good time. I'm watching too much Loco. I said armor. Armor. I'm American. I say armor. Sorry, Loco. Okay. Now we can move into the real part of the game when both players have got their army, both players have got their econ, and we start having our engaging fights. This Medivac is looking pretty low, 22 HP. It's like one and a half wind shots, right? Oh man, the Banes aren't done. Okay, what do we have? 8 Banes? We have 8 Banes right now. As he does push in, he doesn't get anything done. Doesn't get anything done. With these Banes, they're all going to just run into the siege tank. The Banes are getting picked down. The Marines do get picked up and drop behind these minerals. The tank does go down. And the Marines are going to fight. And they do lose almost all the Marines because Solar pushed in before 1-1 upgrades were completed for the Terran. So sorry, ByuN's. Your timing attack became a reverse timing attack where you fought right before your upgrades came out. You lost a lot of value. You could have won the game. I don't think you would have won off that. Let me rephrase that. You could have had a much better trade. Because while Solar is down on the losses, that was a better trade than could have happened. Like right here, he does get the encirclement, the tank does go down, but the afterburners on these Medivacs fly these Marines back into the main. A lot of energy here. These Medivacs are super fast compared to the army. The army finally arrives. These Medivacs are trying to heal everything up. They get a good block inside the mineral line as the losses just keep piling up for Solar. He did try to bring that back. He's only 400 down now. So he is making a big 4th base. This 4th base could turn the game even more into ByuN's favor, and he could finish it. This rock is so tanky! This rock tanks everything! Holy moly! Maybe this is the enemy. Holy crap. And this is another one of those important dips that I was talking about. It's way easier to defend on this high ground than it is to defend this right side Same as the last map. This Medivac doesn't have a lot of energy. I don't really see what's going to go on here. Oh, he finally goes Hydra. Thank you, Solar. You finally went Hydra. There's not enough Hydra out yet to kill this Medivac, but finally we went Hydra. Oh man, the Lings are just not having a good time right now. The Lings cannot handle this one Medivac with 5 Marines just plopping up and down, up and down, up and down. Oh, melee and armor popping up level 2. As he does. Is he getting the 5th out soon? I thought he would go for a 5th soon. Afterburners flying out of the main. Scans to make sure he doesn't have a 5th. Says, realizes Solar might have a little bit more army than he's wanting to here. And Solar can't defend against this thing in the main. He just cannot defend it because there's a way bigger problem over here, and it's the same Hellbat Medivac Marine push that we've seen working a few times now. And the Medivacs Marines finally run out as 2 more Medivacs come in. Full Medivacs, and he's got the Viper coming in as well. Viper, it might get a pick on one of these Medivacs if there were anything to kill the Medivacs besides a Spore. Holy moly, Spore could work. ByuN, a master of the micros. He splits his armies up, he's dropping in the main, he's siege tanking, he's marining on the left side, he's killing the 4th, he's killing the 5th, I mean. He went for the lower 5th, not the higher 5th. And he's gonna get right back into the main base of Solar. Solar runs in, goes within circle on the tanks. He can kill these tanks fine, but it's these Marines with these combat shields and these 3 Medivacs that are giving him the big trouble. He finally swaps to Lurker. Lurker's getting destroyed by these scans. I think the Lurker were a good switch. I just think he didn't have his army there to support them, and they got picked off super hard. Siege tank sits there for a second before remembering, oh, I have to shoot these Zerglings. Marines getting into the main. This is a hive, so this hive going down would be catastrophic right now, since he doesn't even have any other bases on layer tech. Restarting your tech tree from scratch at 11:35 into the game, when you and your opponent are vicariously fighting, would not be the move. ByuN on the right side, with this same triangle of death. This position right here, he hops from ground to ground to ground, drops the rings back down. This might be game right here, as he just has too much stuff on the top left. The army is losing to ByuN. The siege tank siege up. They're pushing through the Hydras, and that's the series. ByuN takes it 4-1. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed watching this series, let me know if you have any other players that you want me to look at next time. And if you want me to make another one of these, there is a channel point goal on my Twitch, twitch.tv/greenkid24. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.